Welcome to the Happy, Healthy Life Podcast with your hosts, Rob and Randy, who reveal the truth, the lies, and confusion about health so that you are no longer the victim to mainstream medical dogma and you are the hero to your own happy, healthy story.
Hello and welcome back to the Happy Healthy Life Podcast with your hosts, Rob and
Randy.
And we are
We are the Happy Healthy Guys.
Happy Healthy Guys. Those dudes. Welcome back. Today is going to be a great episode. Today we're going to talk about how to make sure that you have the best 2025 ever when it comes to living your life happy and healthy.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's crazy. We were just talking about how fast 2024 went by, insanely fast, right?
Man, it really, it's blowing my mind. And you kind of say it every year. I feel like every year it gets quicker and quicker and quicker, which is really why you want to have a plan and a strategy going into the new year. Because I'm telling you, you don't want years to keep going by over and over and over because they do go by quick, and not have a plan to get better and to grow and become the best version of God who God's created you to be. So I'm committed more than ever going into this year to have the best year ever. So if you're a part of our happy, healthy community and you love the things that we talk about, I know each of you are planning on having a fantastic end of the year. It's not over yet. And then going into the new year with a new plan, a new strategy, hitting your goals and making it your happiest, healthiest year. And we're here to help you do that. So
yeah, having no plan is a plan.
That's a non-planned plan.
Yeah, it's a non-planned plan, which is a plan to fail.
Yes,
so let's talk about this plan. Okay, so as important as things that you should start doing with setting any type of goals, I think it's more important to look at the things you need to stop doing, right? So ultimately, when you're focused on something that you want, whether it's to lose weight, to build muscle, to improve or heal your gut, whatever you're going to be focused on as far as your health goes, it's important to recognize what are the roadblocks going to be, what are the distractions, what are the things that are going to sway you from actually achieving your goal. So I think that when you do sit down to write your goals, something that we do every single year, in fact, it seems like we've been planning and structuring our goals for the last month, really. Right. And so we talk a lot about, okay, what are the things that are going to keep us from being able to achieve what it is that we want? So we're going to talk about the top 5 things that could be keeping you from achieving your goal, and the top 5 things that you need to stop doing. So we're going to start there with what it is that you need to stop doing.
Yeah, and then we'll definitely get to the things you want to start doing, but yeah, you got to stop. Sometimes you just got to stop doing the things that are ruining your life and making you sick. That was kind of like the Hippocrates before he would take on what he's the father of modern medicine is the label he's been given. But before he would take on any patient, he would always ask them, are you willing to stop doing the things that are making you sick? And if the patient wasn't willing to stop doing that, then they were not accepted as a patient. So are you willing to stop doing the things that are ruining your life and making you sick? I say yes.
So I think one of the things to stop doing, and we see this a lot, is to stop staying in relationships that don't support a happy, healthy lifestyle, right? And you may have even noticed over the holidays when you're around other people or family members, there's sometimes people that are just not going to support your lifestyle, your eating plan. We have somebody right there that says it's hard, they're family, and it is. However, the way I look at it is, as hard as it is, I love myself and I love them more than the pain that could happen as a result of not living a happier, healthier lifestyle, especially when it comes to family. I think for myself, it's even more important now than ever, because when I was around my family this last weekend in San Antonio, I also went to my dad's house. My dad, who had passed away literally a year ago, a year ago right now. And I know that there were things that he was doing that he needed to stop doing to live a healthier life. And as a result of not stopping doing some of those things, his life was cut way too short. And as a result, my kids don't have their grandfather anymore. I don't have my dad here anymore. And so I love him so much that I'm like, you know what? I want to make sure that my other family members don't go out like that. So when I'm there in the holidays, I know there are things that I make sure I am stopping doing. I'm already not doing those, but I'm going to make sure that my family's not doing those things as well. Something as simple as one of the things that moving forward that we should stop doing. And I say, and we already have stopped doing it, but if you're listening to the podcast and you're new to the podcast, this could be something completely foreign to you. If you've listened to the podcast, you are a member of our Happy Healthy group. You already know what this one is going to be, and that's stop consuming industrial seed oils. They are killing you. My dad was a cigarette smoker, but he was also consuming large amounts of seed oils. That wasn't helping. That was even worse probably than the cigarette smoking that he was doing. But I know that that's something that he should have stopped doing, and you need to stop doing that as well.
Yeah, so having a relationship with seed oil. We've been screaming this really loudly, really since about 2017, just to try to wake everybody up. Because listen, and it's, I know you were kind of saying it a little bit tongue in cheek, but that's actually true. It is healthier. We're not saying do this. It is healthier to smoke a pack of cigarettes than to consume seed oil, because of the fact that, you smoke a pack of cigarettes, you don't smoke the next day, that's going to clear out of your body within, probably 24 hours, and you get a fresh start. Seed oil doesn't work that way. The way these fatty acids are set up and the way their carbon backbones are set up, they've got these unstable double bonds, and they'll integrate themselves into our body, into our tissue, into our cells, into our membranes. They'll even get into the fat of our bodies and create other endocrine problems, and they stay there for, heck, I mean, the research suggests anywhere 500, 600, maybe even 700-day half-life. So you stop eating it, and then 2 to 3 years later, you've still got half of this crap sitting in your body, and it is a metabolic poison. So, go back and listen to future episode or past episodes. We've gone down this road and dove deep with the seed oil, but there's nothing good about these oils, and there's really no reason at this point. I mean, seriously, why would anybody eat these oils when all the best fats taste better and are more nutritious? Where most people are getting in trouble with seed oil, it's when they're going out to eat. That is where they're getting hit with that, because every restaurant is going to cut a corner pretty much and use seed oil.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also know, when you look at the relationships around you as far as living a healthier lifestyle, if somebody said to you, let's say they're talking about somebody that you're hanging out with, and they said to you, hey, you know what, you're really like that person. And you got to ask that's when stuff gets real. If somebody said, hey, you're like Randy and how he does health, I'd be like, that's awesome. I'm going to hang out with him a lot more because I know he's going to support me living a healthier lifestyle.
Right.
So if you're doing health like that person that somebody said, hey, you're really like that person, you might want to rethink, whether or not that person is actually supporting you on your health journey.
Yeah.
And eliminate them as being your voice of reason, because that voice of reason is always going to tell you to do the thing that you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, and I like what you say a lot. I think I got this from you, either a podcast or from you, or maybe a combination of both. But that's going back to, the relationships that we have. A lot of times we're in relationships where maybe people do accept you, but do they really believe in you? And that's two different things, because people that accept you will also accept your bullcrap, your excuses, your victim mindset, your ability to always find a way to make an excuse about why you're not succeeding in life, versus people who believe in you. They're like, no, because, I do accept you, Rob, but as your best friend, I really do believe in you, and I would never let you settle. Not that you ever would, but I would never let you settle for anything than God's absolute best for you, because I do believe in you and what you stand for and your mission and your heart and your desire to want to make the world a better place. So you really have to have those relationships, because what will happen is, and I saw this play out the other day at the coffee shop. I don't think I told you this, maybe I did, but I'm sitting over by these two ladies at the coffee shop when I was in Rockwall, seeing my brother for Christmas. And of course, I'm just observing and listening. And of course, you're looking at them, and no judgment, but they obviously weren't healthy looking, not at a very good weight. They're talking about their soy lattes that they're drinking, how much they love them, eating their muffins that are got, processed flour and no doubt cooked in seed oil. And I overhear them talking back and forth about all their health problems. And then one of them talked about, their life has been so good since they got their tonsils cut out last year.
Oh, goodness.
And then the other person who's in that relationship with this other person, they're like, yeah, that happened to me and it's been the best thing ever too. And they both go, and then the one lady's like, well, I know what they're there for in the body, but when they're more trouble than they're worth, then bye-bye, they got to go. And I'm sitting there thinking, and they're loving to talk back and forth about all the organs are getting removed, all the medications that they're on. When I'm thinking, man, aren't the tonsils like a part of the lymphatic system and helps your body detox? And you just had those ripped out, and but if you're in relationships with the people who let you say stuff like that, and then they like to hear it because it makes them feel better about the stuff that they do, that is a toxic relationship. Because I know if I say something stupid, you're going to slap me.
Yeah.
Maybe not physically.
I'm going to call you out on it for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a good example of finding people who will call you out on it because they really believe in you. They don't just accept you.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got, all right. So you got to stop staying in relationships that don't support your healthy lifestyle. We talked about stop consuming the seed oils. The next one is going to be stop overloading your body with processed foods or ultra processed foods.
Yeah.
Those things are killing you. You have to understand that in the United States, this is by design. The United States, the foods with all the ultra processed foods are designed to literally dumb you down to create sicker people. Because the sicker you have people, they can't make good health decisions when they're sick already. Right. Okay. And so that keeps them into that system. So they're at the doctors, they're buying the drugs. The pharmaceutical company loves this. The pharmaceutical company is then in bed with these other companies, which is why it says that this is heart healthy. They have to pay for that on a cereal box, for example. And so it's designed to really keep you sick. So understand that and realize that you gotta stop eating the ultra processed foods. And I was listening to a podcast the other day and they were saying, do not shop at the regular grocery stores. And I agree with that. And one of the things that they said is that you want to make sure that the only grocery stores that you're shopping at are places like Whole Foods or natural grocers. But I disagree with that.
Right.
Because you can still get processed foods. You can still get seed oils at a Whole Foods, at a natural
they
grocer.
Put in everything there.
Yeah. So you got to educate yourself on what real food nutrition actually is. But the first thing that you got to do before you even start adding those things is you got to eliminate the old processed foods.
Yeah, it reminds me of that study they did at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, where they took those two groups of people and one ate real food and then the other group ate processed, hyper palatable, ultra processed foods. And although they were eating the same amount of, quote, calories, the nutrients are completely different because obviously processed food is devoid of nutrients. This is why you overeat it. In that study, they showed that the people eating the processed food, they kept eating and eating and eating because their body wasn't able to get the nutrients from the processed food. So it causes you to overeat. Where the other group was completely satisfied by eating the real food, they actually didn't overeat because when you eat real food, your body obviously gets what it needs and it will tell you to stop eating because that's called satiety. But processed food, man, and what at this point now in America, I think there's 10,000 chemicals that have been approved to be put into our foods. A lot of these are illegal over in Europe and in other countries, but they've got 10,000 like artificial sweeteners and flavorings and all these additives that are really for shelf life, not for human consumption. So get to know your farmer, get to know your rancher, shop local, stop eating processed food, stop eating seed oil, and get out of these toxic relationships.
Yeah. If you cannot pronounce it on the label or it has more than 3 ingredients, don't eat it.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Stop eating it. The next one is stop living in a constant state of stress.
Yeah.
Okay. We were just talking about this before coming on the air because one of my things to stop doing in 2025 is going to make sure that, and here's how it affects. We already know that when you are in a state of stress, your cortisol levels go up. It puts your body into fat storage instead of fat burning.
Yeah.
It's just not good all the way around. It affects your sleep, affects your body's ability to heal and to repair. All the things. So one of the biggest causes of stress right now in the world are, if you're looking at the video right now, you see this right here, are these things called cell phones. Okay. And so for me, I know when I'm staying focused for 2025, I'm going to make sure that my phone is in a different room. I am turning off every single notification on my phone. Okay. Because here's what happens when the notifications are on your phone, you are being controlled and living based on the app's schedule, the other person's life who is trying to get a hold of you. You can set the phone up that if somebody does need to get a hold of you, if they call you twice, it will ring. But by turning off the notifications, you don't have to think that, okay, maybe somebody's texting me, I need to get to that.
Right.
Because there's also a phenomenon right now that's called phantom texting. And what phantom
This is a real
texting
thing. Yeah.
is where if you've got your phone, let's say in your back pocket, okay, or in your jacket, that and you may have done this before, right? For the ladies that, maybe it's in your purse where you think that you heard it buzz, or you
Or you
think
actually
that
feel it.
or you
You like you
even
think you
feel it.
feel a
I
vibration.
can tell you how many
Yes.
times I've like then taken my
Yeah.
phone out of my back pocket to see that
Yeah.
there's nothing on there. So then guess what you're doing? You're going into all of the other apps or the one app that may have actually went off that didn't. And the next thing you know, you're now on your phone for the next 25 minutes. You're checking emails. You're doing all the things. And that's another thing that I'm going to do is stop emailing as much in 2025.
Yeah, it can control your life, not to mention all the electromagnetic frequencies,
Yeah.
which are devastating to your health and your mitochondria and make you sick. So we're being blasted with all these frequencies and voltage. So getting away from your phone for the reasons you described, also for the reasons, hey, listen, put it in airplane mode, get it out of your room, quit putting it on your body. You see women at the gym and they got it like tucked into their sports bra or something, and they're or into their legs, or it's right up against
And they're
their
making shorts now to where the shorts have a
yeah.
pocket that are right up against
Yes.
your body.
Yeah, so get that phone off you. Don't let it control you. It really can trigger a lot of stress, especially when you start doing the comparison game on Instagram when everybody's life looks perfect and yours does not look perfect, and you really begin to feel the stress of that, and it's not true. So get off your phone or get on your phone less is a great strategy for 2025.
Yeah, Instagram's been showing me lately that everybody's relationship in 2024 was perfect.
Yeah, I've also seen that everybody has a perfect body and no body fat, and everybody's ripped and lean and tan.
It's true. Is that not true? Yeah. Yeah. So whatever it is for you that creates stress for you, everybody is different.
Yeah.
Stop doing it. Stop doing at least one thing that creates stress for you in your life. Just stop doing it in 2025. All right. The fifth thing to stop doing is stop ignoring your gut health. Y'all, we always talk about the gut-brain axis, how it's all connected. The brain controls everything in your body. Your gut is directly linked to it. It's linked to your emotions. One of the biggest causes right now of depression than ever before in recorded history is poor gut health.
Yeah.
It affects your mood. So we're seeing people now that are depressed or also, like we just talked about, stressed out. It's because they have poor gut health. It's a physiologic thing that's affecting their emotions.
Yeah, no question. It's and like people talk about, when you're stressed out, you feel that in your gut because it does play a huge role. And the vagus nerve, it's the vagus nerve is a part of the cranial nerves that come from the brain down to your gut. And you've got even more nerves coming from the gut back up to the brain. And the vagus nerve, it's called the wandering nerve because it wanders and connects to really every organ system in your body. So when your gut is off, everything is off. It really is that second brain. And how do you know if your gut's off? Well, a lot of times you just know it because
You'll eat lunch.
you feel bloated,
Okay.
feel good. You know that you're going to be tired after you eat. You know that your bowel movements aren't normal. So if you struggle with those issues, don't ignore those issues. I think
Yeah.
our clinical experience, almost every single client we worked with, probably for a 20-year span, had some type of gut problem. If you've ever taken antibiotics, clearly you've destroyed the microbiome of your gut, or eating processed food, which is loaded with all the artificial sweeteners and the artificial colorings, which kill the bacteria of your gut. Remember, the bacteria of the gut are a part of who we are as human beings. That helps you break down, make nutrients, make vitamins, absorb food. So I would challenge all of you guys too. And as you know, shameless plug, we did launch the Happy Healthy Gut program this year, specifically to help people turn this around. It's a 6 weeks program that we believe can make radical changes in your life. So don't ignore your gut health. It's too important.
Yeah. H2thinvirtual.com/gut will get you to the gut health program. All right. The things to start doing. So now we've eliminated the things that are distracting us from getting to where it is that we want to go, the top 5. And if you're anything like me, I love a list and I'll write lists.
Yeah.
My list was way longer than 5, by the way. It was probably like 20 things that I need to stop doing in 2025 that are distracting me from ultimately achieving my life's purpose. And so I'm going to eliminate those and make sure that they're not distracting me. Okay. So top 5 things to start doing. Number 1 is focusing on metabolic flexibility. Okay. It's one of the things that you've heard us talk about. And we talk about what metabolic flexibility even is. You know, there's a lot of people that say that you should only eat proteins. You should only eat fat. Stay away from carbohydrates. Stay away from the fruits. Stay away from the sugar. Stay away from all of those different things. But metabolic flexibility means that your body is able to efficiently use all the fuel sources that are coming into your body, whether it is glucose, or it is protein, or it is fat. Your body can go back and forth between those things, and it's not putting your body into fat storage. In fact, your body is in fat burning, but it's burning the right things in order to be able to get the fuel that you need for the mitochondria to work, for your metabolism to be working correctly, and all the things.
Yeah, the metabolic flexibility, that's really the longevity play, because if you think about our ancestors, you know, there were probably times when food just wasn't available. Maybe it was available. Maybe there wasn't access to dairy or meat or eggs or maybe animal proteins. Maybe you had to survive maybe on a few plants. You know, our bodies are pretty amazing how they can eat so many different foods and make energy from that. But the metabolic flexibility piece, I think it's key because a lot of people still think they're metabolically flexible and that their metabolism is strong just because they don't eat carbohydrates and they can manage their weight. And I can tell you right now, you're not metabolically flexible and you don't have a good metabolism if you can't eat carbohydrates. You should be able to eat easily 150, maybe even up to 180, 200 carbohydrates a day and not have any issues with your weight. But a lot of you eat one banana and all the weight comes back because you put yourself into this, you know, high fat, low carb state, which is really a stressful state if you stay in that long term, because there really is restriction. So, you know, not all carbs are created equal. Not all fats and proteins are created equal. But that's why we developed the Happy Healthy Thin Metabolism program, was to help people truly regain metabolic flexibility. I even love how on the back end of the program, as we get people losing weight and burning fat, how we now get their body burning carbohydrates for fuel. So that way they do have, like you talked about, you can go back and forth between carbohydrates or fat whenever you need that energy. And that's a beautiful place to be, because now food doesn't control your life anymore. And it's a lot more fun to live life when you don't have to worry about counting every macro or worry about how many carbohydrates you ate or how many grams of fat you ate. You're really just eating real food and you're listening to your body. So that would be the thing you want to focus on this year is, guys, get yourself metabolically flexible. If you're listening to our podcast, you have not done our metabolism program. I don't know, Dr. Rob, is there a better way to lose body fat, get your body fat adapted and get it insulin sensitive and get your body carb adapted to create real metabolic flexibility? If there is, we just don't know about it. And we know what's out there. So the metabolism program will help you do that quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this and you're curious about that metabolism program, one of the things that we are going to do is at the very beginning of the year, when you're listening to this podcast, is we're going to give you, it's right around 25% off of that program. So if you go to h2thinvirtual.com and you know you want to be focused on having this metabolic flexibility, we just had somebody that sent us a DM through Instagram the other day. If you're listening right now, this is for you. Go to h2thinvirtual.com. Use the code New Year 700. NEWYEAR 700, and that's going to give you $700 off, which is about 25% off of that program. That way you can be able to start the year off having a better metabolism. So there you go, metabolic flexibility. Number two, it's the exact opposite of what we talked about a few minutes ago. We talked about stopping the relationships that don't help you to be able to serve your healthy purpose. This one is prioritize relationships that inspire you, or prioritize relationships who you aspire to be like that person, right? So you think about that. They say that, you know what, you are a combination of the 5 people who you hang out with the most, right? Here's what I think it is. I think it's you are the person who you aspire to be the most. So there are people who we look up to. There are people that I look up to. And so if I'm like, hey, I want to be more like him, somebody that we listen to their podcast, and we've talked about him quite a bit lately, Randy and I have, is a guy named Alex Hermosi. And so he's just such a disciplined person.
Yes.
One of the things we were talking to our coach yesterday, and that's another thing, is you probably need to start getting a coach, somebody that can guide you to help you to get to where it is that you want. And so we've always had coaches in our life. And so we were talking to one of our coaches yesterday, Sammy. He's like, hey, you know what? In order to get this, have the success that you really want this next year, one of the things you need to make sure that you're focused on is consistent discipline. There's discipline. Alex talks about that all the time. So that's why I aspire to be more like Alex. So I may not have to hang out with him, and I may not have a personal relationship with him, but I aspire to be like him. And I think about that a lot.
Yeah, I think, and probably the number one relationship you need to prioritize is the relationship you have with yourself.
Amen to that.
Right? I mean, it's like, what lots of us say relationships are thinking about other people, and those are important. And that really was a focus of mine even this last year, was really to help really build more powerful relationships with people. But I think really my focus, I really want to prioritize really the relationship I really have with myself, with the relationship I have with God.
I love that.
My intention, my purpose. Really, if you're still on this planet and you got a pulse, God has you here and you've got a massive purpose, really seeking that out and building those relationships that help you get to where you want to go. And that's why I love, usually when your mindset's there, those are the people and the relationships that you begin to attract. And I love that. So look at, who are you attracting into your life? What are the relationships that you have? And if you don't like those, maybe look in the mirror, because that may be because you are the one that's creating this situation. Always take full responsibility for the role that you play with the relationships in your life.
I love that. Oh, that's awesome. The next one is make sure that you are consuming real food nutrition.
Amen to that.
It's the opposite of the eliminating the processed food.
Right.
Put real food nutrition. Again, should only have 1 to 3 ingredients max.
Yeah.
As far as what it is that you're putting into your body. We talk a lot as well about regenerative agriculture, for example. So we want to make sure that we are consuming
sun is shining.
things where we know the farmer, we know where it came from, we know the soil that it came out of, which is why even with, for example, like our SCT oil, that's real food nutrition. You know what? If you want to find out more about the SCT oil, go to sctoil.com, because this right here is the healthiest fat that you could put into your body. We know where the cows came from. We know that they are organic, grain-fed, grass-fed cows. We understand that. It's not coming from cows that are literally producing milk all year long. There are, cows aren't designed that way. That's why we'll actually run out of SCT oil, because it does come from real organic raw dairy sources. So because of that, we may run out because, well, the cows just aren't producing milk at that time.
Yeah, it is. And it's a terrible thing when that happens. The whole world feels like it's falling apart when there's no more SCT oil. In fact, we just had a local business here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area are now carrying our SCT oil, and their clients absolutely love it. If you haven't tried it, you're really missing out. There just isn't a better oil to put in your body. So I agree. And it really falls back into, our acronym that we created called SERF, S-E-R-F, simply eat real food and simply eat real fat. When you're eating real food, your body won't overeat and you're not going to gain weight. it can be really hard and confusing sometimes when you think about, what am I supposed to eat? When am I supposed to eat it? How often should I eat it? And really, you don't have to think about that. If you're eating real food, you can eat as much real food as you want, and then you're going to get full and then stop eating. And then don't eat again until you're hungry again. And that's really how simple it can be when you stay away from the processed food, from the seed oils, which actually make you hungrier. If you're eating real food, if you're eating real fats, you're going to get full. You're going to have that satiety. You're going to be satisfied, and you're going to give your body the nutrients that it needs. So can't be overstated enough. Simply eat real food, simply eat real fat.
Yes. Here's the next one. Create space for rest and repair.
Wow, we may need to really take this one to heart.
Yeah, create space for yourself. I know for myself, I like to make sure that I've created that space for myself first thing in the morning. Personally, I really don't even like to get started on working. And when I say working, it's doing things where I'm not actually working on myself, where it's more working on the business. I don't like start doing those things. And I'm going to be committed in 2025 to not starting those things until around 11 a.m. in the morning, just so that I can be able to have that time to be my best first thing in the morning, working on myself, whether it's my workouts, my reading, my journaling, my praying, my meditating, my visualizing, manifesting, all of those things happen first thing in the morning, but that's my space where I'm able to repair. And also that's why with our folks that are in our Happy Healthy for Life program, which is why we have them using the wearable, it's not an advertisement for Whoop, but we have them using this wearable, which is called a Whoop, because you can see how well your body is resting and repairing. And it also allows you to be able to see, is today the day that I can put extra strain and extra stress onto my body, so that I can be able to have the best hormetic response possible and the best growth possible.
Yeah, this is important too. And I'd even go down the angle. I know for me, and I know you as well, a lot of times you think, I just don't have time to take time away for yourself to rest or repair because you feel like you have to be doing something all the time where it's going to fall apart. And I can tell you this, there were years I remember being in clinical practice where I wouldn't even take a vacation. I literally just worked because I felt like if I ever took any time off, everything was going to be taken from me. And it's really a scarcity mindset. Really, the abundance mindset says, you know what? I'm most valuable to the people that I serve when I'm rested and I'm taking good care of me. So don't ever think that you can't take good care of you. Sometimes, maybe that's just the day I don't know, you're just not going to work out, and it doesn't make you a bad person. Not working out and going to the gym for a week is not going to ruin your success goals. It's not going to make you a bad person. It's not going to make you lazy. Sometimes there's ebbs and flows, but don't be scared to take a break or rest. Have your goals in place. The majority of the time you're going to hit those. But I think and I think a lot of us we're our own worst enemy. And I just want to make sure that this year I'm also giving myself permission to go, you know what, maybe it's okay to take a break today or to have a rest day. Because at the end of the day, I'll probably be way more effective in doing more work if I'm rested and feeling good about that, if that makes any sense.
It makes complete sense. It just makes me think I'd gone to a retreat a few weeks ago in Austin. And it was interesting because when I had gotten back from the retreat, we did a lot of really deep inner healing type work. And when I got back, I was like unmotivated to work out. I was unmotivated to do all of these different things because what we were really learning is how to be able to go from your mind, which is the working part of our, our body. And that's really more of a masculine thing to always be doing, right? Because you're avoiding getting into your heart space. Now I'm getting a little woo-woo, but you're avoiding getting into your heart space. But when you're in your heart space, that is actually more of a feminine energy. And a feminine energy really comes from the very beginning when we were in our mother's womb and you're protected by your mom. That's complete feminine energy. And then as soon as you're born, you get into the masculine, which is fear and the doing stuff. And so because I had dropped down into this heart space, because what are you doing when you're in the womb? You are building all of the new cells in your body. You're regenerating cells in the body in order to be able to create the person that you are, that literally just started from these two cells. And then you're also in there resting, right? You're in that state. And so for me, when I went from my mind and my working brain all the time and dropping into my heart, it wasn't that I wasn't motivated to do those things. I was actually feeling like, you know what? You need to rest.
Yeah.
You need time to be able to repair. You're now just aware of it. And I didn't think about it until they did an integration call about a week later. I wish they would have done the integration call a lot sooner, because then I'm like, oh my God, this makes complete sense. It wasn't just me. So I was feeling like guilty because I wasn't motivated to be like working out, walking in the morning, doing all those different things. So I think there is time that we do. And I know that we have to make time for ourselves to be able to rest and to repair.
Absolutely. Give yourself a break. Some of you need to give yourself a break. Some of you actually need to get your butt going again.
That's true too. Yeah, it's not permission to not do something.
Yeah, we did not give you permission to rest all the time. But yes,
people are listening. You know what? I've been unmotivated for the last 25 years.
This is what I needed to hear.
Exactly. I'm healthy.
Remember that, a lot of people think that, every time I go to the gym, I'm motivated. I would say 90% of the time I'm going to the gym because I'm keeping my word to myself, not because I'm motivated to go to the gym or go for a walk. So keep that in mind as well.
Yep.
Don't let your mind lie to you.
All right.
It is a liar.
Last but not least is to start embracing having a growth mindset.
Yeah.
Right? That's the way we are created as human beings.
Yeah.
To grow, to learn, to use each experience in life as a learning opportunity to be able to get better. So I would start embracing a growth mindset.
Yeah, I think that's a powerful place to be, because if you're not growing, you're really shrinking. There aren't really lateral moves in life. Your things that you believe in and that you care about the most, those require time, energy, and money and focus if you want those things to get better. So I never want to find myself in a place where I don't feel like I'm growing. That's really a lot of people that are depressed, who have anxiety. It's really because they're more in a stagnant place where they don't feel like they're going anywhere. There's no growth opportunity, or there's nothing greater on the other side, or that their life isn't going to be better in the future than it is today. So not just talking about our company, because we're always in a growth mindset in our company, but in your own life, in your walk with God, in your relationships with your friends, your family. I want to grow those. And I've been really on a real journey, more so feels like ever before. And you know this about me, over the last couple of years, to really dive deep and ask God, where can I grow? And what do you want me to learn, so I can begin to grow in my own life and share that with others to help them come along and grow with me. So guys, you guys are growth-minded people. That's why you follow this podcast. That's why you're part of the Happy Healthy community. Don't let anything keep you from growing and becoming your best version this year going into 2025. That's exciting, because if you're not growing, you're shrinking, baby.
Yeah. So part of that growth right there is also, don't forget to celebrate the wins. Okay, no matter how small the win is, celebrate your wins.
Yeah.
I know we've been spending the last couple of days and speaking to our coaches and looking at all the wins from 2024. And it's like, wow, we have come a long way with all of the wins that we've had. And it's not until you actually consciously sit down and think about that. I think we don't celebrate those enough, because it does show you that you are constantly growing.
Yeah, that was really a powerful drill that we did, because I'm thinking, that was okay. The year was okay. And then when I start going through all the victories and the wins, I'm like, oh my gosh, man, God has really blessed us this year. There's been so many opportunities for growth, and there has been the wins. So then it goes back to, give yourself a break. Do celebrate those wins. And I can tell you, man, when you're in that place of when you're winning and you're growing, and life just is way more fun.
Amen to that.
And you're going to attract those same type people, which makes it even more fun. So always be in a growth mindset, and a growth mindset also is a mindset that we talked about earlier, that does allow for rest, that does allow for not having to be perfect. It just means that you're you're not perfect, but you're always moving forward and
Yep.
you're always wanting to get better. And I think that's a healthy attitude all of us should take into every day of our life.
Amen to that. So top 5 things to start doing in 2025 is focus on your metabolic flexibility, prioritize your relationships that inspire or you aspire to be like, adopt eating real food nutrition, create space for rest and repair. And number 5 is embrace that growth mindset. So there you have it. This is the last podcast for 2024. We love you. We will see you in 2025. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for sharing the show. Continue to keep on doing that. 2025 is going to be the best year ever.
Amen to that. Love you guys. God bless. Happy, healthy New Year.
Thanks for listening to the Happy, Healthy Life podcast. If you enjoy the show, make sure to follow them on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at The Happy Healthy Guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and review the show wherever you listen to podcasts.